Good morning, friends. I'm going to take a walk to the library today to pick up a book that I have on hold. As I leave, I wanted to show you my neighbor's house. Look at the beautiful work he does in his lawn. You can hear the birds in the background. Look at that. This is what I get to look at every day from my yard. This was the home of the Stedmans back in the day. I met Durr Stedman when I first moved here. And this is how beautiful that house looks now. Look at that. Wow. So, this is Walnut Street, where I live. I'm holding my book, so having to do double duty here and hold it under my arm to try and keep this steady as well. I hope you're having a good day where you are. It's 498 Walnut Street, 488 here. From what I understand, Alan Hallman lived there at one point. When I moved here, Clay and Julie lived there, but they have moved away, and now my friend Oscar lives there, and some other folks that I've not met yet. This is 479. I believe this lot and that lot just sold, and they're gonna tear that house down. Yep, this is 479 Walnut. I love that house. I wish it would stay and get fixed up, but they'll do what they did here, probably, and put new builds here. This is 482. It was renovated within the last couple of years during the pandemic. I don't know the lady that lives there either. I know all my neighbors down at that end of the street, but down here I don't know. This is 478. I've never even seen a human being at this house. And our Wheeler and Walnut here. And I'm gonna walk this way. Down Wheeler, as many of you would have done, to either walk to the library or more likely down to the community pool. You would have walked down Wheeler or Russell, depending on where on this side of town you lived. I'll probably go to Chick-fil-A and grab something to eat as well. The library opens at 10 a.m. and it's only 9:10 right now. This is a new build within the last year and a half, right on the corner of North Avenue and Wheeler. We're on Wheeler right now. This house is always filled with varying renters, but it's a beautiful little house. Could use some work. Right on the corner. Look how gorgeous that is. 457. That's looking west. No, north? That's looking north on North Avenue. We're at North Avenue and Wheeler. And that is looking, sorry, no. That's looking west. That's looking east. That's the new big house on the corner. And now to the duplexes. It's 3263 on the corner here and 3264. And the park down at the end of the street. Some of these are in quite good shape right now, being renovated. But still, most of them along this street are showing their 80 years of wear and tear. These being built in, I believe, 1943. So, what's that, 81 years ago? For wartime workers, factory workers that moved into this area. You'll hear a lot when people say they moved to, their parents brought them from other parts of the country to live in Hapeville. They started here in the duplexes on Russell and Wheeler. And then they'd move into whatever house they were having built, because houses were being built in a boom time here in Hapeville. You get these a lot in the spring because Hapeville doesn't like us to let our grass and flowers grow. I struggle with that because I like to let it for the first month, for the full month of April, I like things to grow so the pollinators can enjoy it before we start cutting it down. But the city would rather you keep it cut immediately, so you get a lot of those warnings. I got one immediately. As soon as spring started, there was one on my mailbox. 3297. One of the topics in Hapeville is street parking. Many of us wish we had regulated street parking. It's not so bad right here. This is actually how, personally, I would like to see it, where certain days of the week you park on the right and certain days of the week on the left. But on most streets you can park on either the right or the left, and so the street will often be blocked. And my worry is that makes it difficult for emergency vehicles to get around. We did have a fire a few weeks ago, and I saw one of our Hapeville fire trucks coming up North Fulton past my house, and he had to slow down at each side street and look down the street to see if he could get through. And that was worrisome to me. But there are a lot of topics in a small town, a lot of issues that need to be, here's 3314, that need to be addressed at all times. So know where you live is going to be perfect. That's something that when I was young, I kind of thought, if I move, I'll find the place that doesn't have issues. I'll find the place that doesn't have people that rub me the wrong way. And as you get older, you realize, it's 3320, with a properly mowed lawn, you realize as you get older, no matter where you live, there are going to be issues. What is that saying? No matter where you live, there you are. So it's our responsibility to respond in a healthy way to things that might not be to our liking. There's 3332. I love Russell and Wheeler. I just think it's so neat because it's the only two, these are the only two streets in Hapeville that are completely duplexes and were built for that. Before they were built, the Hapeville history book describes this area as having been filled, both streets, this street and Russell over there, having been filled with, it was covered with a giant forest of virgin pine. That would have been beautiful to see. Now we're coming up on Parkway Drive and Wheeler, and this one duplex that faces the park. In Hapeville High School back in the 40s, they used to bring the football teams down here to practice, and then when they would take pictures for the annuals, you would see this in the background a lot of times. And as you would see these houses too, 535 and the one after. Here's the park, the baseball diamond. I know back in the day, for most of you, baseball happened further back over there. You can see the stands still there that were behind the backstop. They're still there, the stone cement stands, but the ballpark is over on this side now. I love the sound of birds in this town. Did you know that back at the turn of the century and in there 100 years ago, there was a sign at both entrances. There was a sign at both entrances to Hapeville, along Stewart Avenue and then on the other side of town, that proudly proclaimed that Hapeville was a bird sanctuary. And indeed it was. This town back at that time was still, wasn't so much an airport town. I mean, the airport existed back then, but it was an automobile racetrack, and then early on a municipal airport. But before that, the town's main industry was truck farming. Everyone grew fruit trees and berries and things, and would take them up Sylvan Road with a horse and buggies, horse and their truck, all the way into Atlanta to the markets. There used to be stairs right there that went up to Josephine Wells Elementary School. Now it's just a empty field up there owned by Fulton County. And here, where the general area where the pool used to be, is community services now. Park services, community services. I think I did this walk a couple weeks ago, didn't I? So if I'm repeating myself, pardon me. We've got parking spaces lined up here now along here for folks that do come to use the skate park, pick up their kids at school, or look at this. This opened last year. It's a splash pad for the kids, which utilizes the spring water right underneath it. Somebody is burning wood and it smells delightful. There's community services right behind. And up on the hill is where all the picnic huts used to be. Now there are dog parks up there, 2 of them. Well, 1, and then it's divided for big dogs and small dogs. Back in the 40s, there used to be either on this spot, that's my closest guess, or on this spot, but I think it was this spot, there was a stone goldfish pond. You'll see that in the Hapeville High School annuals, often people sitting around the pond. And also classes sitting on these stairs, the stairs over there for class pictures. There's the back of Hapeville Elementary School now, which used to be the front of Hapeville High School. And there's one of our many, many stray kitties here in Hapeville. I see you, buddy. And there was some majestic stone steps that went up to the original school. What you're looking at now, the tennis courts were there have been there for a very long time. This is our skate park. It's lovely. I love to see people out here together enjoying the skate park. But not so much today. It's so quiet. The entrance up into the wooded area. Of course, back in the day, y'all knew this as Master Park. It is now, they haven't changed the sign, so I can't remember, but a couple of years ago, they changed the name to John C. Lewis Park? I can't remember. Up here on the left are the stairs that go up to, basically there's a track up there now. I'll go up the stairs and I'll show you. But this area, back in the 50s, was a quarry. It's a very deep dugout hole up here. Now, let's see. There's somebody running on the track, but we have a track here now. Isn't that nice? It's a very beautiful, quiet area. I've always thought it'd be a great place. Hello. For concerts or evening events. I talked to a friend who's on city council, but they said at this point it's not possible to have events there because there is no electricity anywhere. So it's not possible. I've never been inside there, but I believe that was your gym. Built in the 60s? 50s? I'm gonna find out very soon. I have an appointment on Friday at the Atlanta History Center. I'm very excited to find out that they have a set of architectural plans that show the original building and any additions that came after. I would show you the, I'll show you a little bit, the football field, but I'm not gonna film it because elementary school kids are out there running around right now, and it would be weird for me to film other people's kids, so I'm facing it this way. It's just the world we live in now. Here comes the little stone bridge that I will always now think of my friend Bob Ridley and his amazing story that he told me about how he used to cross this bridge coming from those magical woods. Right there, he would cross this bridge and probably go slightly in that direction. When there was no library back there, there was no senior center. It was just woods, and it would carry him over to where he lived in the duplexes at the Dutch Forest on Meadow Road. But here's the Fulton County Clinic where you all would go get your vaccinations. Still sitting empty. Somebody had a great idea a few years ago that said this would be a great welcoming center for an entrance to some beautiful botanical gardens in Hapeville. I agree. That would be quite an undertaking, but boy, would that be beautiful. It's perfectly situated to be a welcome center for the Hapeville Botanical Gardens. I would love to see that happen. Here is the senior center, and I've not been in there either, even though officially I'm a senior now, aren't I? I'll be 56 at the end of the year, so I think in our country, 55 is a senior. I mean, I am getting AARP notifications now. This is the library, the new library. Let me swing back around. Here's the back of the clinic. The original library that was built in '74 was here, which is now the parking lot. They built the new one on the street. Right on the street. I often wonder when I look at these apartments, I go, I wonder how many Hapeville High School graduates wanting to leave their parents' houses got their start living in these apartments or others in the area. But here it is. And they're not open till 10, so I'm gonna head over to Chick-fil-A and have something to eat. I wanted to show you something interesting up under here. In the overhang, what they did in the overhang was they did this cutout thing where when the sun shines through it, here it is, the Hapeville Library. It's a beautiful space. But what they did is, you can see there's an H, an A, P, E, V, I, L, L, E. And when the sun hits it just right, it spells Hapeville right across the front. You have to be here and know about it and aware to catch it, which I have. I have a picture of it somewhere. I made sure to get up here and catch it when the sun was hitting just right. But today, it's an overcast day. Clarion Court, that's what this is. Little dark history in that place. I found an article from the 60s. There was a young lady, her last name was Gelb, G-E-L-B. I forget her first name, but she lived here with her father. And in one of those apartments, I'm not sure which one, they were found deceased. He had murdered himself and his daughter with a gun. Wish I could find more details about it because I'm a true crime enthusiast. I like to watch those documentaries. And there have been quite a few true crime stories here in Hapeville. And for some reason, true crime is always more dramatic when it happens in a small town, because you just know when something like that happens, everyone was affected by it. All right, I'm coming up to the back. Let me stay on this side because there are some houses over here along King Arnold. Just realized since the library is not open, I gotta carry my books to Chick-fil-A with me. All right, ugh, I'm juggling now, and all right, which one is this? 489 King, oops, sorry, 489 King Arnold. Okay, we're coming up to where there's a bunch of people, and I never noticed this before. Never noticed that there were little duplexes back here. I'll be darned. I never did. This is the first time I've seen that. There's an old light pole with no light on it, and a signpost with no sign on it. What was this place called, y'all? I mean, clearly people still live there. I'll be darned, just tucked away. They made the wall nice and big to block off the ever happening traffic here at the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A. Wall, somebody's backyard. Look at that. Wow. All right, my friends, that is it. I hope you've enjoyed the walk. I think it's before 10:30, so I can get some chicken minis. That makes Papa happy. Create yourself a great day. Bye.